Hey, this is Richard Smith, Apostolic Praise School of Music. In this lesson, we're going to be teaching you about the different parts of a drum set. So let's start off with the big three first. So first one we're going to be doing is the hi-hat. And this is this guy right here. Basically made up of two cymbals that go together. You also have a little pedal at the bottom. When you push that, which is usually how you want to have it, you want to hold it down to give a sound like this. Okay, you'll usually want to play it with your right hand also, right hand drumstick. Right, and the way we typically hold the drumstick is just like this. We've got our thumb on one side and then our hands kind of holding it like that. All right, and you want to take it and actually push the pedal down here, and that's the sound you usually want to make. And of course, if you lift it up, you can do this type of sound, which we'll learn about in some of the more advanced videos. And then if you can actually play it without the pedal down, it sounds like that. Sounds like you kind of bring it together. So there's some more advanced techniques you can use with it. For beginners, typically you'll just want to start off and hold the pedal down and play it like that. Okay. The next one is known as the snare, and that's this guy right here, the snare drum. And this is typically, we'll get into this more later, but typically what you'll play on the 2 and the 4, just like if you're clapping at a gospel concert or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So that's the snare drum. That's the second of the big three. And the third one is the bass drum down here, and that's the largest drum down here that is on the floor. And you'll want to actually push that with your right foot, push the pedal. Okay. And that is basically what you want to play on the 1 and the 3 normally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyways, we'll get more into beats and stuff later. And that's basically how that works. The next one next series we want to go into are the toms. Okay, and the toms are actually these guys right here. Okay, so this is known as the small tom. All right, it's the smallest one. This is the medium tom, and this is known as the floor tom or the large tom. Okay, so the floor tom or the large tom. The small one sounds like this on this particular drum set. Medium and floor. Okay, you can hear it has a deeper sound, kind of like the bass drum. All right, so those are the toms. I'm not going to go over necessarily every single thing here that's going on in this drum set because there's quite a bit going on. In fact, most of you will probably not have this many cymbals either. This is actually a church. This is a church drum set here, so we've got a lot of cymbals. The next most important one that you want to know about, though, is the ride cymbal right here. And it's generally the biggest cymbal in your drum set. Usually it's to the right of the drummer, and you'll usually want to hit it right here. And we'll talk about this more later, but it's used as a replacement for the hi-hat. The hi-hat we typically play 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing on the ride. It's just another option. Instead of playing the hi-hat, you can play the ride. And by the way, if you ever want to stop a cymbal, you can just grab it and make it stop. All right, and of course you can create different sounds playing it in different places. You don't always have to play it right here. That's generally how it's done. And the rest of these cymbals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are pretty much all crashed cymbals. So this is actually the medium thin crash. It is an 18-inch, and it'll create quite a loud sound if you hit it hard. Which, by the way, one thing you always want to do, you can see we have some headphones right here that we use for church when we're playing. You usually want to have a pair of headphones or you want to have some earplugs when you're playing. It is really not a good idea to play without some kind of protective ear gear. That's a good way to lose your hearing. Sometimes you play the drums and you'll hear this ringing in your ears after you get done. One day, if you're not careful, that ringing will not go away. So you definitely want to use some kind of protective ear protection, some earplugs or something that will protect your ears while you're playing. And you always want to use those even in practice as well as church. Or headphones work pretty well also. Here's another crash. I think this is called the China Boy. And that's the sound it makes. This is the medium thin crash. I didn't give you that one. I'm not going to hit it full speed here. And then here we've got another crash. It has a different sound. This is actually a splash. I think it's an 8-inch, 10-inch. Okay, so that's the sound it makes. And this is a 14-inch crash. Okay, so splash is just another kind of sound, splash versus crash. You can go to the drum store and play around and find your favorites. I know most of you guys, if you're starting off, will probably just have one crash cymbal, which is fine. And you'll probably have a ride cymbal. You'll probably have a couple toms, 2, 3 toms, a snare, hi-hat, and bass drum. And those are pretty much what make up a drum set. And of course, got to have your drumsticks, right? Can't play without those. So once again, this is just to cover the basics. We've got some extra stuff here like the chimes, which create a really pretty sound. And for the purpose of this video, that is all we're going to cover.